Hi there, Math 3 students. This is Julie, and as I promised, I'm making a short video to go through how we would find the perimeter and area of a complex shape. So in other words, a shape that's not just a square or a rectangle or a circle, but maybe some combination of those different shapes or parts of those different shapes. So I'm going to go through problem number 1 on the worksheet that I handed out, and hopefully this will give you some ideas as to how to complete the rest of the problems on this sheet, which remember are due on Monday. So, problem number 1. The instruction says calculate the perimeters of the following shapes. All curves shown are circles, semicircles, or quarter circles unless otherwise labeled. Round decimals to the tenths place. All right. So for question number 1, I am finding the perimeter of this sort of rounded off rectangle. And I don't really know how to find the perimeter of a rounded off rectangle, but I do know how to find the perimeter of a rectangle, and I know how to find the perimeter of a circle. So if I can break this rectangle down into its straight sides along the edges here and its curved sides, I should be able to figure out the total perimeter. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at this and identify. We'll do the easy part first. So I can see that I have 4 straight sides on this rounded off shape here. So I'll mark these here. And I don't have exact measurements for those sides, but I have enough information to where I can figure out the measure of those sides. So for example, I know that the distance across the center of this rectangle, so sort of the longer width, is 10 meters. I also know that these corners, little rounded parts of the corners, are 1 meter by 1 meter. So that tells me I can subtract, and if I take that 10 meters and I take away the 1 meter on one end and the 1 meter on the other end, that should leave me with 8 meters as the length of that long side. And I can mark that both at the top and the bottom. Okay. So similarly, I know that going across the shape, sort of up and down here, the entire distance across is 6 meters. And again, I have those little 1 meter and 1 meter sections that I would be taking away from the straight part of the side. So again, if I think that the entire thing is 6 meters, I take away 1 meter at the top and 1 meter at the bottom. That means that I have 4 meters left over. So each of these short straight sides should be 4 meters. And now what I need to do is find those little rounded corners. So this section here, and this section, and this section, and this section. I have 4 of those little corners. The instructions told me that all of the curved parts are either circles, semicircles, or quarter circles. So I can assume that if I take all 4 of those parts and put them together, I would have a complete circle. So in other words, each of these little pieces are 1/4 of a circle. And so that means that the radius of that circle is equal to 1 meter. Okay, so now I can go to, I need to find the distance around that circle if I were to put all 4 of those pieces together. That's the same thing as finding the circumference. So I go to the circumference formula. Circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. I'm going to use the pi button on my calculator to compute this. The diameter in this case, if the radius is 1, the diameter is going to be 2. So I'm going to do 2 times pi. When I work that out on the calculator, it comes out to be 6 point a long decimal, which I can round to 6.3. And that's in meters. Okay, so that's the circumference of the rounded corners. And then to find the total perimeter of this shape, I just need to add on the lengths of all those straight sides that I already computed. So I'm going to add on 4 and 4 and 8 and 8 and total all of that up. In fact, I'm going to change this a bit. So when I total up that 6.3 meters plus the two sides that are 4 and the two sides that are 8, I should get 30.3 meters as the entire perimeter of this shape. Okay, so notice I can break the shape down into things that I know how to find the perimeter of, put it all back together. That'll give me the entire perimeter. I'm going to do a second video where I'm going to look at the same problem. This doesn't ask me to find the area of this problem, but I'm going to make a video anyway that shows how I would find that area, which should help you with some of the other problems on the assignment. All right, thanks.